welcome everybody. Thanks for showing up. If you are in the breezeway, please make your way in. We're going to get this party started here in a minute. Welcome to everybody that's here. My name is Chris Cobb. I'm the president of the Star Chamber of Commerce.
And I'm Michael Keys, the treasurer of the Star Chamber of Commerce.
I think we all recognize that the city of Star is a pretty patriotic place. And saying that, we have a special flag bearer behind Trevor here, who's going to hold the flag. And if we could all stand up and we're going to recite the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah, I
think we all recognize the city stars. Also thank Faith Community, decided to be patriotic, so please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you for the ability to gather like this in a free nation, Father. Thank you for the courage of these candidates for coming out to represent our city. Father, we thank you for all the people who come to watch them do it. Father, we ask for your blessing upon them tonight and your blessing upon all of us in the City of Star. In the name of Jesus Christ, amen.
Amen.
This forum is brought to you by the Star Chamber of Commerce. The Star Chamber is a nonpartisan organization that brings this forum to the City of Star as a service to inform the citizens.
Voting is your sacred right. The election this year is November 7th. Early voting started yesterday. You can now vote in person at the Eagle Public Library, Meridian City Hall, Ada County Elections at 400 North Benjamin, Boise City Hall, and in addition, the mobile voting trailer will be at the Star Library on October 31st and November 1st from 10 to 5.
Just to do a little bit of housekeeping before we start, we request that you please be respectful of all the candidates. No clapping, jeering, moaning, or cheering until after the event.
All the candidates for mayor and city council, including those whose names will not be printed on the ballot, have been invited to participate in this forum. A copy of the forum rules was emailed to each candidate for the office of mayor and the 2 city council candidates.
The Star Chamber of Commerce hosts complete, unedited recordings of forums. Editing is authorized only for official media reporting. Excerpts or edited clips of the Star Chamber of Commerce candidate forum may not be used for political purposes. Recordings of candidate forums in their entirety are the sole property of the Star Chamber of Commerce and Spirit Media.
We request that the candidates or their volunteers not place flyers on vehicle windows or have their volunteers hand out pamphlets while we are conducting the forum. You are, of course, welcome to do so in the lobby immediately before and after the forum.
If you would like to submit a question this evening and you haven't submitted via email or here at the plate or here this evening, please write it on one of the index cards and somebody will be coming around, or let Asumi or April know that you'd like to submit a question, and just raise it up and somebody will come by and grab that for you. The cards are located, like I said, in the rear of the room.
On behalf of the entire Star Chamber of Commerce, we'd like to thank Spirit Media for recording and uploading the proceedings of tonight's event to YouTube. We'd also like to express our gratitude to High Spring Christian Church for providing such a terrific venue. And finally, we'd like to express our gratitude to these candidates who care enough about our city to just stick it all out there.
We will now introduce you to the candidates in the upcoming November election. All 4 candidates join us tonight. For our mayoral candidates, I would like to introduce Michelle Miles and Trevor Savage. Our city council candidates are Jennifer Solomson and Kevin Nielsen.
And just as an aside, by the way, the reason that we have Mayor Chadwick separated from the rest of the group is not because we're afraid of a fight breaking out. He let us know ahead of time that he's coming down with a cold or something, and just out of respect for Michelle, who works in healthcare, we just wanted to provide a little space there.
Thank you.
The purpose of this evening's forum is to hear the candidates for mayor and city council discuss issues that are important to the residents of the city. This is a moderated forum, not a debate, so we ask the candidates to refrain from being critical of each other and talk only about the issues and their own plans and visions.
We will try to cover as much and as many issues as possible in the time that we have. If your question is not addressed tonight, please feel free to contact these candidates directly.
And because our two city council candidates are both running unopposed, we will spend less time with them and focus on the mayoral race, which is a contest.
Here are the rules for the format of tonight's forum. Each candidate will have 90 seconds for an opening statement, and at the end have 60 seconds for closing remarks.
Each candidate will have 90 seconds to respond to each question that is presented.
We have volunteers who will be timers sitting up front. They will hold up signs to the candidates when they have 30 seconds, 15 seconds left, and a stop. If the candidate continues for more than 5 seconds after the stop is given, we torture you. No, I'm serious. A bell will be rung. This is not the night that any of us could actually use a little more cowbell. This is a little bit.
We will have a lightning round near the end where all 4 candidates will be requested to answer questions with a yes or no answer or a single word only.
As moderators, we will be asking all the questions.
The Star Chamber of Commerce will determine what questions will be asked in an attempt to cover all topics of interest indicated by the questions submitted to Star residents via email prior to this evening and by attendees that fill out cards this evening.
This forum is the forum being video recorded. And we ask that each candidate speak directly into your microphone in front of you so that your responses are heard and picked up by the audio and video equipment.
Now we turn our attention to the candidates. Thank you for your time in running for office and participating in this forum. We applaud your passion and desire to serve the Star community. All candidates will now offer their 90-second opening remarks. The speaking order for the first question has been determined by random drawing, and we will start with Jennifer. You have 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Well, thank you, Chris and Michael. First of all, I just want to take a second to thank the Star Chamber again for hosting this very important event. I also want to thank Lifespring and the public for being here tonight and tuning in online if you watch this later. Thank everyone here for being here. This is a really important thing, and just appreciate everyone's engagement. Let's see. I appreciate the opportunity to serve this community for another 4 years. I decided to run for a second term on Star City Council to continue to ensure our community grows in a manageable, thoughtful, and planned manner while protecting individual and landowner rights. A few key priorities I have focused my efforts on and will continue to focus on include long and short-term transportation planning, expanding our park system pathway master planning, updating the comprehensive plan and city codes, supporting well-planned business and residential developments, and supporting local community events, acting fiscally responsibly, and representing our city as a welcoming, neighborly city and friendly community for all. Done.
Because we don't have teleprompters. My name is Michelle Miles, and I'm seeking your vote to be Mayor of Star. I am well versed in the responsibilities of the mayor's office. Having lived in Star the past 19.5 years, I have a good understanding and a feel for living here. Presently, I live in one of the city's first subdivisions. For 6 years, I was surrounded by open space, mint and alfalfa fields, watching osprey and herons and eagles fly in my backyard. I believe I have the leadership skills to engage our residents, both old and new, into a prosperous and meaningful community. I will build our city upon truth and transparency. I will set forth pillars of grace, integrity, and consideration of all. I will protect its citizens with wisdom and justice. It will be a city under God, indivisible, and with liberty for all. This position is nonpartisan because the executive is to be fair and just for all its residents. I am a Republican who understands and supports our Constitution. However, I am foremost a Christian, and I'm led and governed by Almighty God. In Africa, I would say I'm saved. And on this note of praise, I'm going to ask you to join me in a moment of silence for those in our Congress, Senate, military, for all Americans who are living abroad during this time of testing in the Middle East and everywhere else, and in particular for the fallen officer today.
Thank you, Michelle.
Thank you.
Trevor?
Well, I had a written statement, but it's going to take 5 minutes to read, so I got to shorten this up a little bit for you. So. Hey, I just want to, my name is Trevor Chadwick. I ran for mayor back in 2019, became mayor in 2020. I've lived in the Star since 1993 when I met my wife here. We built our first house in 99. Little did we know 4 years ago that we're going to deal with the pandemic of epic proportions that we had to deal with here as a city of Star. We did have some serious growth concerns. I did put some stuff out there when I ran last time, some goals I wanted to work on. This was improving our transportation relationships with agencies, create sub-area planning, to alleviate residential tax burden, update our STAR technology, create monthly meets and greets, creating transparency with the citizens of STAR, and improve our parks and recreation system. I'm happy to say that I believe we hit home runs and all those plus more. You know, we have a unique opportunity today to discuss all these different issues and how we're going to address them. And I welcome this. This is outstanding. You know, and I hope we can get through all these questions. And if not, please leave me out there. I have an open door policy here in the city of Star. You're more than welcome to come and talk to me at any time about any issue, any challenges that you may have. We are a fast-growing city, and there's no doubt about that. But we have created an environment here in Star that people want to be a part of. We are an extremely patriotic city that believes in the rights of everybody and the rights of all. So I do appreciate you guys' time tonight. I'm glad to see so many people participate in this. I just want to say that the Star Chamber has more rules about this than I had in a city council meeting.
Use the bell.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate everybody being here tonight, and for those watching at home, thank you as well. This will be my third term seeking re-election, and it wasn't a decision that I took lightly. That seems like a long time, and it will be at the end, 12 years. And one of the key factors that we decided to run again for re-election was that the city of Star is in a really unique position right now, both as a city and community, and really as far as our political leadership goes as well. We live in just a wonderful community, and I believe that our city leadership reflects that. We have a mayor and city council. We don't always agree with each other, but we all get along, we love each other, we support each other. And I think that's a really unique political situation anywhere you want to look in the country. We've got a city hall that works seamlessly and with complete fidelity with our police department and complete support. Same with our fire department, Star Sewer Water, our agencies. Trevor mentioned the goals that he had to improve relationships and build them where they didn't exist, and we've done that. And an opportunity to continue this and to continue our focus on trust and transparency in the community by following the law. We hear people's voices and we follow the law, and that's what I want to be part of, and we'll continue.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to go into our 90-second questions, and these questions are going to be for all the candidates. And we'll start off with some good ones, and we'll keep going. We're going to start this one with Trevor, and then we're just going to go right down the line to Michelle and so forth. First question, Mayor Chadwick. What do you see as your most important accomplishments for STAR during the years you've been in STAR and also as a mayor?
My most impressive for all the years I've been in STAR?
Yes.
Wow. That's pretty broad. Well, I tell you, I'm a big proponent of our Constitution. I created an organization called Youth Hunters of America where we take kids out hunting at no cost to them. I'm a hunter's ed instructor as well. I think it's important to get these kids out there and have them understand the rights of that they have as well, right? And understand the hunting heritage. It's the longest heritage we have in our country. That's how we fed our families for years, right? And trying to make them understand how to do that on a personal level. On the mayor's level, I think some of the stuff that we've done some amazing things. I mean, our public safety, we have one of the lowest crime rates in the valley, and it's not because of just luck. It's because we've been very proactive in how we try to fund our police and how we fund our fire. We came up with mitigation fees to help fund police and try to get us to a 1 to 1,000 ratio, which is very respectable. We were at about a 0.7 ratio. This year we hired 5 more officers. In the 4 years of being on as mayor, we've hired a total of 10 officers of the 18 right now. Right? That helps. That helps with the proactive policing and helps us with maintaining a safe community where people want to be part of. I didn't want to hear the cowbell.
So, same question is going to be for you. What do you see as your most important accomplishments for STAR during the years that you've been in STAR?
The most important accomplishments I've made for STAR include my work as a physician's assistant throughout the Treasure Valley. In addition, when I first arrived, I worked for the residency program and developed a biological weapons warfare manual for the family physicians in our state, and that is utilized throughout the state. In addition, I have worked on the Pharmacy and Therapeutic Board for 2 years after initiating the Idaho State University Physician's Assistant Program in Meridian. I have participated throughout STAR events, having a beautiful picture of Butch Otter and his grandson when he was Grand Marshal in our parade. I enjoy the community. I enjoy my home here.
Thank you. And Jennifer, same question to you. What do you see as your most important accomplishments for STAR during the years that you've been in STAR?
Thank you. So I have a mother of 2. My kids are getting older now, but when they were younger, one thing that I felt we really lacked in here in STAR was things to do for our children. And so I am very proud of the work that I've done to bring new park amenities to our park system. I was a key player of helping to pick out all the equipment for the new playground at Hunters Creek Park, and then also at the STAR splash pad. So I am just really proud of expanding the park system, and then also with the pathways. We have traffic, cars. That's a very important way to get around. But for local people, I also want to have places that we can walk and bike to safely for our children and for adults. And we did not have that. But I've been working really hard towards bringing like a master pathway plan. And this year we're going to be working with a consultant to help create that plan. So, and I am not a great speaker, but I have definitely improved over these last 5 years.
Thank you, Jennifer. Councilman Nielsen, what do you see as your most important accomplishments for STAR during the years that you've been in STAR?
It's an interesting question because when I moved here, there was just over 1,000 people, and today there are 17,000 plus. And so that's a long time to consider. I think that STAR as a whole community can take credit much more than I can just personally for a lot of the wonderful things that we enjoy. Some of the things I'm particularly proud of helping and being part of is our annual hometown celebration. I agree with everything Jennifer said about our parks system. And, it brings our community, those things that bring our community together, and help us feel like we're neighbors and like we care about each other and like we're watching out for each other. Those kind of things I think just bring tremendous value to the community. Particularly of the skate park, of the river walk, and I know these are visions that others have had, and I've been a key part to be able to help bring those things to pass and bring them about. Trevor mentioned some of the work that we've done legislatively to be creative and ensure that growth in this community pays for itself. I'm confident that we are not, if not the only one of the only places in Idaho where growth is actually paying for itself, in as far as we understand what those costs are. So I'm just really proud to call Star home, and I love that when people come here, they want to stay.
Okay, is that it? Okay, so next question, Michelle, we're going to start with you first.
Real quick, Michael. We've had a couple of requests. People are not able to hear, and it's been difficult on the video. Can you guys speak a little closer to the mic, please? Thank you.
Okay.
Is that, just real quick, Michael, is that a mic thing? Because I feel like, because I'm deaf and half deaf and I can hear everybody, or are you plugged into the system directly?
Yeah.
You are? And
It is a mic thing, sir. It's a mic thing. Just get closer to the mics and we'll think it.
Then you want us to eat it, like you said.
Well, I don't know that I lick it, but...
That was the sea salt ice cream cone.
Okay, Michelle, what are your goals as an elected official for the next 4 years?
That's a great question. First goal is to develop a planning and zoning commission or a committee that's separate from our council members. I also would like to see an individual treasurer and not a shared position. I'd like to see an individual treasurer that's not a shared position, and a technical person that's not shared. But more importantly, I'd like to develop a code of ethics for the city itself, for its employees. I would like to develop more transparent communication from the city. I would like to keep our spaces open as much as we can, so the fields that we can walk. I also think we need to look at parking, and foremost, develop an identity that survives 50 to 100 years.
Okay, thank you. Jennifer?
All right, the next 4 years. Looking just at politics in general, across the nation, it seems like everyone is so divided, right? Everyone is so divided. And I would really like to see, foster a community, that when I talk to citizens, they all say that they moved here for that small town community. But in order to preserve that community, we have to, have events and opportunities and places, that we can connect with each other. We're not going to do it in our backyards. And so I think I would like to focus on getting more community involvement and participation and input. Nobody ran against us. And I just find that bizarre. This is not an easy job by any means, but I think to preserve that hometown community, I would like to focus on just continuing to build that community right here.
Thank you. Kevin?
I think in the next 4 years, I've thought about this because this will be my last term in office. And what can I really do to help Star, progress and develop as a city that's viable, for the centuries to come. And really, I think it comes down to a lot of the things that Jennifer just talked about. It's fostering that hometown feel. I've got a newspaper clipping from 2009 that talks about people being concerned that Star is losing its hometown it's small town feeling. And here we are, well a decade past that, and that's people's still their number one concern, that they're still moving here and staying here because it feels like a small town community. I mean, more than almost 10x since that newspaper article was written. So we're doing something here that is preserving that feeling. And I think a lot of it has to do with the way that we organize our community events, with the participation we got from the chamber, from many local churches, some that are here and well established, and others that are just coming. And this is just a great place for people to be. But I want to touch on one thing that Michelle said, and that's the Planning and Zoning Commission. And there's not a chance I would support that here in the city of Star, but because I don't want unelected people making decisions for our city. But I do want and think that we can contribute by having some sort of committee that's in an advisory role.
Thank you. Trevor?
Yeah, so some of the things that I want to work on, continue to work on, the role of mayor is not just a local position, but you got to work with folks in the state legislature to create policy to help protect our city and help drive city stuff. One of the biggest things is working with the state legislature to make sure that fentanyl becomes a mandatory minimum item. That's the one class 3 item on a drug list there that is not a mandatory minimum, and it's a deadly one, and it's becoming a problem in our communities, right? And so we need to make sure that I want to just continue to work with the legislature. I want to testify last year. It was turned down. We have a great representative in Scott who's working on a fentanyl bill to help to get that done, because the more we can push that out of here, the better our children and stuff are going to be. Also need to work with the legislature continuously on making sure that growth is paying for itself. When they put House Bill 389 into place, it kind of impacted our fire department. Our fire department can't fund personnel right now by itself to add to the new stations. That's why we have mitigation fees in place. If they would let growth pay for itself with new construction, then that would help. I want to work with that. Transportation, obviously, is a big one. We finally made headway with KCHD to get Star Road on 2025 plan to start designing that versus 2035. Right, so we need to maintain that work and that effort with these transportation agencies to make sure that the roads are getting improved. There's a whole bunch of stuff on that we could talk about, but I'm out of time on that one. So.
Well, we'll just kind of follow along with that. The next question is a good leeway, and we'll start with you, Trevor. What are the 3 things you wish the legislature would do that would help either assist in the operations of the city of Star or be of great benefit to the citizens of Star?
That's a great, interesting question right there. Some of it is allow the local entities to be able to manage their own budgets the way that their citizens and everybody feel, right? Allow us to utilize new construction to help us fund the different things that we need, like police, fire, EMS, roads, all that. The legislature, I was interested. The legislature doesn't want the federal government to get into the business. The same thing is for us down here. Let us do our job, right? I mean, I have great relationships with them, and they understand my position. We're going to agree on 95% of everything, probably, but the 5% is very frustrating at the local level. The smaller cities are the ones that get impacted by some of the decisions they make versus the larger cities out there because of the tax base that they have. And by the way, Star has the lowest tax per capita in the valley at $98 per citizen. You get to Boise, it's almost $600 per citizen. You get to Middleton, it's about $140, $150 per citizen. So we are very fiscally conservative here in the city of Star. We do a great job with our funds. We just need them to help us out and let us do our job.
Thank you. And Michelle, same question. What are the 3 things you wish the legislature would do that would help either assist in the operations of the city of Star or be of great benefit to the citizens of Star?
I think the legislature can continue to identify with us about who Star is. And we were fortunate to have Mr. Moyle and Otter and several folks that have been home here for a long time. I do think that the legislation and particularly the lottery system, could be better at identifying who's receiving the funds from the lottery as far as our schools are considered. And I think that I would probably tail in on what Trevor just said.
Thank you, Michelle. Next question, or the same question to you, Jennifer.
First of all, I would have them fix the school funding. We struggle. People don't, that's where our taxes go up, is by when we need more schools. And the city, we have no say, the city is not building their schools. I wish it was different. I wish we could say, give us the state, we are running out of space, we need a school. That is up to the voters. They have to approve the bonds for a new school. And I just think that system is broken. And so I don't have the answer, but it needs to be changed. Another thing that I think we could use some help with from the state is mental health support. We have nothing here at Star. And, we have a very small, we're not a big city. We can't, spend a lot, the city can't spend a lot of money for mental health support. But I think, as time goes on, our kids and adults, there's people that need it. And so we need to, as a city, start thinking about how we're going to provide, that other service. And then the last one is we always need more money for roads.
Councilman Nielsen?
Thank you. I think the first thing that the state legislature could do to not just help the city of Star, but all the cities of Idaho, is to use their $1.9 billion of tax surplus that they have this year to pay off all of the school bonds and lower our property taxes. It's unbelievable to me, and I'm going to get on a soapbox here for just a minute about House Bill 389, and Trevor and Jennifer, sorry to hear this all the time from me. But that bill is an absolute disaster for the state of Idaho, and for as much growth as happening, not just in Star, but all across our state, to limit the city's ability to draw taxes from properties that are coming here and building new from this growth is really just placing that tax burden on all of you who already moved here or who have lived here your whole lives. And that bill severely limits us. And Trevor and this council, we've been creative. We've found unique ways to temporarily mitigate the effects of that here in the city of Star. But those mitigations are going to run out. We need our legislature to fix House Bill 389 and allow cities to have control of their budgets and to affect, to stop pointing the finger at cities as being the reason we have high property taxes. And finally, like Jennifer said, fund ITD, widen Highway 44, and just get it done. We've got the money.
Thank you. So we have one more question. This one's for the councilors only, and then we're going to give you guys a break until the end. But we're going to start away pretty deeply into questions that were emailed to us. So buckle up. There are approximately 7,000 residential units approved for development in Star, but not yet built. What would the city council candidates say about the current level of development and what the growth policy should be going forward? And Kevin, you can start with you this time.
7,000 sounds like an awful lot, doesn't it? And it is. And in addition to those 7,000 right across Highway 16, just north of Eagle, there's an additional 7,000 that are already approved, essentially, and under some level of planning. So, look, the growth in this area, it's not going to stop as long as farmers are selling land. And so there's only so many things that we can do to address that. In the state of Idaho, we don't have legal authority in the city to put a moratorium on growth. Only under very, very limited circumstances and only for a very limited period of time. So it's not a viable option. So really our challenge is to shape that growth. And we do that by forming really good relationships with our police, with our fire, with our county highway district, and our state highway district, our school districts, and legislatures, and really striving to work with them to make sure that this growth pays for itself and to make sure that we've got the facilities and the infrastructure that can support it. This is going to be a continued pressure on STAR for many years to come. And as a city council person, I'd like for us to continue to keep our comprehensive plan refreshed and for our zoning ordinances to be continually updated. We've done a lot of work on that in my time on the council, including recently, and I'm satisfied with where we're at today, and I can see that we need additional planning and continually planning, I should say.
Thank you. Can you repeat the question for me? Just to make sure.
Certainly. There are approximately 7,000 residential units approved for development in STAR but not yet built. What would the city council candidate say about the current level of development and what the growth policy should be going forward?
Yeah, that's 7,000, that's a high number, but it's not going to be built overnight. That development, it's going to take time, and we have updated our comprehensive plan, I think, a couple of years ago, and hopefully, many of you were part of that process. And so a lot of those developments that we have approved since those last couple of years, we did reduce the density so that we are growing at a slower pace. Going forward, I think we just have to continue looking, at the comprehensive plan. If we need to update it, we update it, and just keep planning away.
All right, this is another question that came in from the public via email, and we're just going to do the two council, all four?
No, it's only for the mayor.
Only for the mayoral candidates. Okay, take a break. Michelle, we'll start with you. Where do you stand on planning for a bypass for trucks and other vehicles so that traffic from Eagle and Boise does not need to go right through downtown Star to reach 84 and down to Caldwell? Would you budget to cost share for such a project?
Presently, the ACHD and ITD already have the plans for the road line going through Star with Highway 44. You also have Chendon, and you also have Highway 16 north and south. Would I promote a bypass? Where?
Thank you. Same question, Mayor Chadwick?
Yeah, so that ship sailed for a true bypass like Eagle has years ago, when we had the opportunity years ago to do that. However, with that said, we do have opportunities now that I've been working with ACHD, and Highway District Court and ITD, and the city of Middleton to put a new northern highway. I think it goes off of Goodson Road, connecting to Highway 16. And so that would help pull traffic away to get to Highway 16, which eventually is going to go to Highway 55. So you have a new northern highway. Also pushing to get Kingsbury Road to be a new bridge connection there. If we have that connection at Kingsbury, we can pull a lot of traffic from coming in downtown Star, because over 60% of the 20,000 vehicle trips a day that we get that comes through Star originates out of Canyon County. It's not Star traffic, right? So if you can move that traffic onto some of these bypass areas, a manufactured bypass versus a natural bypass, it'll be a win-win for the city. So those are things that we're working on. The nice thing being, I'm also the Compass Chairman-elect, which is our regional planning agency. I'm also now part of the national board of transportation. That's going to help us tremendously in trying to get some of this funding that we need to try to get some of these projects done. And so this is some of the things that we're working on to try to pull that traffic away from downtown Star.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor, we'll start with you on this one. Some months ago, Channel 7 interviewed you and asked what the major accomplishment of your administration had been. And you said that you'd reduced zoning density and had increased the percentage of commercial properties under development to shift some of the tax burden away from the residents.
Yeah.
Is this still a priority in the city of Star? And would both candidates agree that these are important policies in the future?
Yeah, so I think you said two things there, right? You said tax, and what was the first part? I'm sorry.
Reduced zoning density and increased percentage of commercial properties under development to shift some of the tax burden away from residents. Is this still a priority in the city of Star, and would both candidates agree that these are important policies in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. With COVID, we had challenges, obviously, with mass moves. Before COVID, we had about 350 housing permits per month. When COVID hit, when everybody was mass moving out of areas that were very, communist, in my opinion, right, to come to Star, we ended up with 800 building permits a year. And so some of our solution to do that, to combat that, is we took 40% of the density out of our comprehensive plan. That's a lot when you think about it, right? So now instead of having 5 units to an acre in a lot of places in Star, it's 3 units to an acre. That's huge, right? So that's still a priority. With that, bringing commercial businesses in is huge because that alleviates the property tax burden on our residential units. We have had huge successes in that. We went from $80 million in commercial properties here in 2020 to $250 million in commercial properties this year. And that's dropped us 4 basis points in property tax burden away from the residential units. And so we're going in the right direction. So it's important for us to continue to get some of these commercial entities, which we have up on Chittenden Boulevard, we have down on the Canyon County side, that to help alleviate that alleviate that property tax burden amongst the citizens in the city of Star. We have 12 taxing districts we're dealing with. Only 4 of them are apples to apples. Those are the ones in Star. The other 8 are countywide. So when your values go up at a higher rate than any other value in the other parts of the county burden is coming to us at a higher rate than over there without any more services. So we got to offset that.
Michelle?
As of 2022, we have approved 70 subdivisions or areas for residential growth that are listed M3 or higher. We have 6 that are M1, R1, excuse me, I'm using the wrong term, R1. When we look at growth and what we have not yet approved, the majority of those are going to be R3 with mixed use. A city cannot survive without commerce. A city has to have businesses. A city that is our size does not need 7 pizza places, all in 1 or 2 or 3 block area. I am not against growing with commerce or residential areas because I love Star. I think people should live here. I think grandparents should come, and I think young folks should come. And I do believe we need to have technology. I believe we need to have higher density of, not higher density, but more folks, more businesses that are mid-sized, between your 50 and 100 employees. Presently, I did a walk through our business sector downtown. Of all our restaurants, less than 10% on a given day live here in Star. The employees come from Eagle, Meridian, Middleton, and elsewhere. I would like to encourage business that is amenable to the people and the students that we are growing here.
Thank you. All right, we're going to go off the cuff a little bit here. This question is from the audience. There's also been some of the combined email questions, and I'm going to change it around a little bit so that it goes to both of you. We're going to start with Michelle. As you may know, Hello. There we go. The Willowbrook application was recently approved by the city of Star. How would you have voted, and what are the reasons of your vote if you had one to vote for this application?
Would you clarify, did you say that the entire Willowbrook application was approved?
The recent Hillsdale/Willowbrook application was approved, I believe. Is that right? The annexation, excuse me. How would you have voted on this application, and what would your reasons have been?
I am an avid golfer. However, the golfing in the foothills would not be a good thing in my opinion. I would have voted no, and I will still vote no, and I will vote to prohibit any additional growth of the Willowbrook plan to the best of my ability.
Mayor, a little bit different, but same type of question. For the Willowbrook Hillsdale Estates, what were the reasons for, say, being a proponent or being for that as a benefit for the city of Star?
So we have a comprehensive plan map that actually shows our growth for the city going to the county line. So Willowbrook is within that comprehensive plan map, right? So we have an obligation as a city to look out for the future of our community for long term. You've seen what's happened in other parts of the county where the county commission has taken these same applications and increased density. So now we control what happens up there with the density. I mean, we reduced it originally when the first Willowbrook came out in 2018. It was almost 4,000 homes. We're down to 1,000 homes on 700 acres out there with a golf course, right? That's a lot better than what we've seen in the past. It's a lot better than what you would have seen in the county. Plus, you run the risk. We don't do it. Eagle can come right around the top of us if they chose. Middleton can come right around the top of us if they chose. So it's important for the city of Star to control its own destiny in those areas as applications come with our comprehensive plan map that we have. And this is on our, it's on our website that shows the densities and whatnot of those areas up there for those.
Okay, next question. This is kind of a mashup of several questions that we've gotten from the public. What, in your experience, education and training, volunteerism in STAR, participation in city events, engagement in various communication channels, or other things in your background has prepared you to lead our city, managing an approximate $15 million annual municipal budget and have a staff of almost 25 people, plus the police department reporting to you? We'll start with Michelle.
I love that question. I put myself through college, and in doing so, worked for a multinational tugboat company that owned 3 multi-million-dollar companies, and I read their books, accounts receivable, accounts payable. I know numbers, and I can handle numbers. I'm not worried about numbers. Secondly, I have spent over 10 years of my life living in developing world, and I've seen oppression and power, and I've seen what lack of freedom can do to a community. So my volunteer work has been overseas, more so than the city of Star. However, in Boise, I have resettled 5 homes. I have coached 30 to 36 students on a 5-year plan playing basketball to the community. I have taken young women, 30 to 40, up for retreats and kept them in college, kept them through their delivering their babies. I am a volunteer and servant of my friends and of my community. And this is beyond the 24-hour days that a physician assistant will do in urgent care during the COVID pandemic.
Trevor?
Will you repeat that entire question, please? Yeah.
What, in your experience, education and training, volunteerism in STAR, participation in city events, engagement in various communication channels, or other things in your background has prepared you to lead our city and manage an approximate $15 million annual municipal budget and have a staff of almost 25 people plus the police department reporting to you?
So I will just start out with, I have a master's in business administration, a master's in marketing, a master's in human resource management. I created the budget transparency that you see today, the 36-page document that talks about every aspect of the budget. So I can clearly understand what our budget is in STAR and what our needs are. And with the council's approval, we put it all together, right? The volunteer thing, we could go hours on that. I was West Valley Little League's president for 9 years. Service 700 families every year. for that. I got, the hometown celebration, guys, you see that, and we all come to this celebration. That's one of the best celebrations in the country, I believe, right here, where we pray to God, where we love our flag, right, where we just be with each other. It's one of the coolest things to see, out here. Obviously, we talk about Youth Runners of America. It's a volunteer organization. We buy almost 8,000 pheasants a year through fundraising donations and stuff like that to get our kids out there in the field so they understand our hunting heritage. I helped start the soccer program here in the city of Star back in 2010, and Ron left his living room. Right? It was I've been very ingrained and involved in our community for a long, long time, and especially with the youth of our community. Our youth are our future. And you've got to be able to drive them for positive results, or show them how to get positive results if things don't go well for them, right? I'm stopping. Sorry.
We're going to stay on questions from the community that were emailed and combined with a couple of the comments from the folks that are here in attendance. Let's start with Trevor on this. What would you do to support and promote more of the local businesses rather than, say, the construction of large chains or corporations?
Hey, we would love to have more local businesses. We've been very open and have asked people, if you have an idea and you want to open a business, you need to come in. Our challenge right now is we don't have any place for them. Most people right now don't have $1.5 million in capital to build a building. You need some of these bigger corporate guys to come in to provide tenant improvement locations for our small business owners. I will tell you some of the coolest things that I've seen that we kind of developed as a council, and I'm going to just pick on you, Chris, with your development over there in Stonecrest are these work-live units. There's, I think, 8 right now, or 12, whatever you have, where the top floor is a residential and the bottom floor is a residential. Every one of those things is full with local people that want to utilize those facilities, right? You got to provide more opportunities like that, and I think we're doing a great job as a city providing those opportunities for folks to do that. We've got to foster some of these other folks to come in here and build the TI buildings like Star Shipping Print. That's a local one, but that had to get put into a TI that was built by a major retailer. It's got to happen. If you want local businesses, you've got to have the opportunities for them to put them in there. The capital's not there, right? So I encourage anybody and everybody, come into the city, talk to Sean and Ryan. We'll do whatever we can to help you get in a building out here.
Same question for you, Michelle. How would you go about the promotion for local businesses?
I think we would love to communicate that we are open to small business and new business, and particularly I would love local grown businesses. There are several governmental grants available for small business. We have a very active small business group in Boise who provides education for any small business owner. And the issue is the dollar talks. And so if you've got someone coming in, a big chain, saying, we're going to do this and we can do this easily, most cities are going to say, sure, come do that. However, we can develop an identity and develop homegrown and allow homegrown industries to start here.
Thank you. Next question. Michelle, we'll start with you on this one. This is a question from the audience. With the new apartments near the river and all the new residents using the river, how would you plan to provide for safety? For example, would you cut trees or vegetation or put up safety signs, or what kind of a plan would you do?
That's a good question, because I'm not really for all of the open ponds and everything for a city without having some safety measures. A couple of our parks and beautification folks have put a great little system in which they have life rings available to all the ponds throughout the city, and they've established that, and that's an excellent plan. My concern is on the river, and particularly when we're doing the river walk, how we're going to destroy natural habitat, and how we are now losing our eagles and our herons and our osprey. So my sense is, rather than opening that all up to all our businesses, and apartments and living, that we would continue to maintain what has made Star beautiful, and that is our open space, our agricultural areas, and our trees in particular.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor?
So that's a great thing. I will just tell you that the light ring thing was a product of myself and Justin May's work from Firehouse Subs. I worked with him to get the funding to buy all those rings out there. We counted up every single pond and provided an opportunity for every HOA out here, if they chose, to put those light rings there as a safety aspect. We as a city also put Freedom Park together. There were some trees that were cleared out. Those were hazardous trees. Those were trees that are going to fall on some kid and probably kill him. And so they did have to get cleared out. We also have put together, we got a grant to put a bridge over the river to the BLM lands over there with plans to create a trailway system, a pathway system, the Highway 16, which is going to come back across the river and connect to the Boise Greenbelt system. All this is stuff that we have been working on as a city and planning and utilizing grants and funds. It's all going to be safe. There's going to be, people got to be safe too. They got to take care of themselves and make certain that things don't happen to them. The river is a good river. We also have an opportunity right now. We did an H&H study, which is a high water study, to be able to put a boat ramp up on Star Road, our Highway 16 bridge. With that, it will allow us to clean out the river and provide a float down the river from there to the Star Road Bridge. So we have some great opportunities to utilize the natural resources we have in our city and all the park spaces that we have as a community, and they're all pretty safe.
Thank you. I'm going to go back to a question from the audience on one of the postcards here this evening. This is a hot topic, obviously. We hit on it a little bit, but we can go into it a little bit more. As the mayor of Star, what is your plan to control growth? And would you utilize a CID or a community improvement district or infrastructure district? And we'll start with Trevor.
I'll start with me. Yeah. So we have, Idaho has what's called a LUPA, the Land Use Planning Act. So there's only, like Councilman Nielsen, I think, mentioned a few things that moratorium is only available in very extreme circumstances, and we're not there. What we can do, and what we have done, is reduce the densities in the comprehensive plan, right, for future development. The market's going to dictate when houses are built, right? Material costs, interest rates, all that kind of stuff. People's moving out of other cities. CIDs, I'm not sure if I'm a true fan of CIDs and LIDs, and we're trying to learn more about them because it's a relatively new thing here in our area, where those districts pay for a lot of the infrastructure there, similar to urban renewal, but a little bit different, right, in those areas. It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I know you see some developers make mention that this is a no LID thing. You saw what happened in East Boise with Harris Branch and the fight that they have with their residents that live there now and the extra tax burden that they have to pay, right? Do we really want to put that burden on the taxpayers, or do we want the development community to pay for it? I think the development community should pay for it, in my opinion, before the residents are stuck with a burden for the next 20 or 30 years on that. So, okay?
Thank you. Same question for you, Michelle.
When you research cities and small cities and CIDs, they're really not beneficial until you're hitting a population group over 50,000. So it's a little bit early. Urban districts won't pay for themselves until you're hitting 50 to 76,000 people in population. So I wouldn't be looking at districts just yet, but I think that is definitely a proven system. It's proven itself well in Boise. I think that you have to be very cautious about impact fees and stating that they are keeping us and keeping our taxes low, because basically those are fees that are rolled back to us to pay for more of your developers, your construction workers. They are not going to pay that impact fee. They're going to roll it into the cost of your home that you're going to pay us. Same like when we're working with roads, we are going to be paying those taxes. We just give them a new name called a fee. That's the difficulty of running a city, are your taxes, right? And I don't have a proposal to say I'm going to lower your taxes. The more people we get, the more share we can have. But that's for you and me to work on together.
This is another emailed-in question as to property rights. So, where do you stand on property rights? Developers, farmers, homeowners, or all property owners, each has a different want in free America. How do you support each different need? And Michelle, will start with you.
Justly. I think that when you have farmed land for nearly 100 years, you should have a good say in what's going to be developed. And then when you sell your land to a city or to a developer, that developer in that city is honest and fair and just with what they said they would do with it. So my intention is, if you're someone who's lived here, I want to know what you want done with your land if your grandchildren aren't here, or if your children say, I don't want to run a cattle business any longer. I should still have what you dreamt and what you wanted to do with it. And there's another part to that question, I'm sorry, I forgot. I might have 10 seconds.
Each has a different want in free America. How do you support each different need?
So I think that, I'll go back to Justin, but listening to what your needs are and what you're wanting.
Thank you. Trevor?
So private property rights is one of the biggest right that we have in the state of Idaho, both for landowners, primarily for landowners, right, out here. It's a right, obviously, farmers have the right, obviously, to sell their land if they choose. Anybody does, really, to sell their land if they choose. It's up to us as a city council, and we've done a great job of this. If you watch any of our city council meetings, they don't always get everything they want. We reduce densities on stuff, we require fees on folks, we require extra improvements on them. We've done all sorts of things, right? So we have to balance the rights of the neighbors that are there, which we have done, and the landowners' rights that own that property now, while not impacting a farmer who's selling his land for extraordinary money, has worked his tail off his entire life and can create generational wealth for his family. We've had farmers around here that make $15 million off the sale of 100 acres. That's incredible money, right? It's not our right, your right, or anybody else's right to tell them he doesn't have a right to that money out there. And so we have to balance that as a city, and we've done a great job with that, with the improvements of this comprehensive plan, which is a 200-page document, and our city codes that we've updated 3 times over the last 4 years, right? To try to maintain the things that we want to see as a city, what the landowners around want to see, while they are able to make their funds out there on their property.
Great, thank you. All right, the next question. We have our police chief and our fire chief here. Thank you. So this question falls in line with maybe something that they would ask. We know that with the increase of population comes an increase of crime, also an increase of service requests. How do you propose to support our first responders in this manner? We'll start with Trevor.
How are we going to support the increased request for calls and stuff for police and fire? Well, we've done a good job of that here in the city of Star. We talked about that earlier about adding the number of police that we have. Our Star Fire District is getting ready to build another fire station on Florida Feather, which is going to increase service times for everybody on the western and northern side of the city. So I'm going to continue to work with the legislature to help them with funding for ongoing funding for the fire department. Chief Dominski, man, he's been at the governor's office, he's been at Speaker's office, he's been at Assistant Majority Leader's office, trying to get them to understand what they did with House Bill 39 and the impact it has on them. So we're going to continue with mitigation fees to help fund that. City of Star, when we hired 5 new officers this year and the increase in service, we actually put together what's called a POP team, a problem-oriented policing team. That POP team is important to help keep drugs and all that kind of stuff off our streets, right? It helps, it's a proactive policing model. Plus, putting these 5 police officers help the officers have backup. You know, the last thing we need is police officers out there by themselves handling situations that are dangerous and deadly. Every single call that they take, they have no idea who they're dealing with. So having backup here in the community is important, and that's why we continue to find these funding mechanisms to make sure that the police are whole and our fire are whole. And if the economy goes down, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, our police are going to stay whole. I got to keep my police. I can reduce my salary. I can reduce my staff's salary. We can cut stuff, but we can't cut our police. That's the number one thing for our community to make sure that we stay safe and reliable here for the long term.
Thank you. Same question, Michelle?
We have a terrific police department and an outstanding fire department that probably needs more money than that they have. I would wholeheartedly support increasing police, increasing our firemen, increasing our EMS services in particular. They work under incredible circumstances, and particularly with the mental health crisis post-COVID. We need more help for them, we need more training for them. We need to have them available and understand mental illness. There's an incredible, wonderful program that the Sheriff's Department has already put in place, but we as a community need to support them. And as Trevor has, I would certainly continue the support of our fire department and our police. That's public safety. That's the number one reason you have them here, is to protect you.
Thank you. So this is another question from the audience here. It's a two-part question, and you each get one part. Okay. So Michelle, your part comes first. Can you explain to me your statement about Trevor being on a trajectory for state representative?
Sure. When I registered to become your mayor, or to run for this election, I was immediately greeted, within 30 minutes, by the chairman of the GOP, asking for an interview. And it was at that interview that I received the information about how great our mayor is, and where he's going, and why I should not run. Now, any city that doesn't have people running for mayor and running for council every 4 years is a city that's needing something, or a city that's oppressing something. Now, Trevor's wonderful. Trevor belongs to several organizations, as he's mentioned, and I feel that for me, serving a city means serving my city. And I have no desire to go further up the ladder, and we really are a ladder in Idaho. It's kind of the Idaho way to jump in and walk through these steps to get to a higher position. That's why I said that.
Thank you. Now, Trevor, your part. Are you planning on becoming a state representative or some other office?
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, it's an absolute honor for others to think that I'm doing such a great job in this state that they want me to move up. I've had people ask me to run for governor, believe it or not. Man, I've been in Star a long time. That governorship, if it happens, great, whatever. I don't have plans right now, but I've been in Star forever. You know, my focus, guys, has been Star. If you ever come down to the city hall at 5:30 in the morning, you'll see my green Jeep sitting there. Oftentimes I'm there till 6:30 to 7 at night. That's my wife. My wife, I commit a ton to this city. It's not a 5-day job. It's not an 8 to 5 job. It's a 24/7, 365. I work on weekends. My wife makes me go camping to get away from the phone and social media so we could have some us time. That's how committed I am to the city of Star. So if that is a reason to say that you don't want to put me in the city of Star because others recognize the fact that we're doing a bang-up job here, man, I'm sorry. I think I'm doing a great job, and it's an honor for folks to really look at that.
Thank you. We have a couple questions that came in via email, and then one also here from the audience today. Speaking about the Star Library or the Annex Library. Question is, are you a library user, supporter, and what benefits do you feel that the Ada Community Library Star Branch brings to our community, and do you feel like we should make any changes to it? We'll start with Michelle.
The first change would be a bigger building. We need a bigger library. We need a bigger service for our folks who work in the food distribution and food pantry. We need a bigger post office. All these folks need help, and it would be in my interest to help them. I love the Star Library. I have a card, but I don't use it too often because I really don't have the time to go in there. However, I'm well aware of its reading programs. I'm well aware of its facilities to host classes and to host several different adult education areas. It also offers incredible opportunities to use the internet and your websites for folks who don't have that ability at home. We need to keep it.
Thank you, Michelle. And Trevor?
Yeah, the Star Library is an important function in our community. It provides a lot of resources for a lot of families out there. For me, I read, unfortunately, I come to this world, I read most of my stuff online. I don't know my books. You guys know my wife. If I sit and read a book, sometimes I fall asleep unless it really interests me, right? However, I am part of helping out with the Star Library. There's the Friends of the Library folks, if you're out there, they are working on a bigger building out there. Help them fund it. Get out there and donate to them so they can get this project done out here, right? There's a lot of, I don't know, I think it was like 8,000, I don't know, I can't remember the number, 8,000 families or whatnot that utilize that library. It's not a city run. It's not a taxing district of the city of Star. It's its own separate taxing district out there, right? We talk about the food bank. I'm going to just piggyback on that. The food bank is huge. You know, they serve so much food to people in need here. And it takes a village to help out a lot of us, right, that need the help. And they're also in a capital campaign to try to get a building. If you guys know, they're using the old city hall, the green building right next to the city, to service 33,000 meals or something like that. That's incredible. And all those volunteers between the library and the food bank guys, they spend a lot of time and effort to try to make things better for our community. So if you guys can support them in any way, funding-wise, I suggest you do it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And you realize you channeled Hillary Clinton with your "It Takes a Village" comment.
You know what? No, I'm not really against you, so don't worry about that.
Next question, Trevor, I'm going to start with you on this. Does the City of Star's current comprehensive plan meet the needs of the citizens of Star? Why or why not? And given our current growth rates, how often do you think it should be completely overhauled?
I think currently it does meet the needs of our city. You know, we're going through an update. We'll go through an update this next summer. That's a scheduled update right now. We've done 3 updates in the 4 years I've been on city council, where we've updated many different facets of it, including Ms. Jennifer was big on updating parks. Part of that, determining how much park space we need based on our population and whatnot, right? And so we look at these different things as needs arise, right? You don't know everything until it comes up. The same thing with our city code. Right now we're going through a city code update. Everybody's going to see an email come out asking them to participate in a survey monkey to talk about what do you want to see in the city code. We have so many new people with so many unique ideas from around this country. I don't think there's a state that I haven't talked to somebody from that lives in this city now, which is incredible, right? So you're going to see that. We want to hear that. We're going to do some updates to that as well. This plan used to be very inadequate until about 2019 when we updated it to the 17 chapters that was required by the state. We didn't have all of that. You know where we discovered that? With the first World Book application. And we made some huge changes to that because we didn't know. And now we continue to update this as time goes. And it's a pretty screaming document, I think, because it talks about our police, our fire, our parks, you know, our natural resources here, all this kind of thing. So I think it's pretty good.
Thank you. Michelle?
Our comprehensive plan is much better than it's ever been, but I still believe that there's room for change and there's room for making some differences. So if I were mayor, I would revisit, just as Trevor said, a city plan is fluid and it has to be for the growth that's coming through. There are things on that city comprehensive plan that I personally am not in favor of, and that is in particular pathways along the canals, because they go through my neighborhood, and I don't particularly want the public walking and riding their bike behind my house. I think that's a huge safety issue for our police, and we're inviting trouble when we do that. At the same time, we need to have pathways and walkways. We need to become a walkable city. So I think that we have to keep an open eye on it. It's a plan. It's not set in stone. I've watched our mayor make changes, and it's an incredible event. And to be honest, for those of you who were here for several years, knew that we had city planners that we would chew up like down and spit them out. And for the past couple of years, we've been kind of consistent. But I think we should continue working on that plan.
Thank you, Michelle. Next question will go right back at you. In your opinion, do we have enough affordable housing in Star? Where should affordable housing be built in our city, given that most housing of that description is typically high density?
A healthy city has a mix of different densities and a mix of different housing opportunities. Having been living poorly overseas, I know what it is to need a home. And when we build apartments whose rents are higher than our mortgages significantly or equal to, then we have to be really cautious about the population that cannot afford $2,500, $2,100 a month. So yes, I am for mixed use, I am for apartment complexes. The key on here is where can we put them? Can we put them in a floodplain? I don't think we should, but can we find other places that are amenable, particularly to roadways, and have transportation available?
Thank you. Travis?
That's a loaded question. Well, the reason I say that is when we have, my staff knows, when we have a meeting with the developer, and you probably know, when they come in and say this housing is affordable, I'm like, for who? Right? City of Star used to be the lowest value properties in the valley for a long, long time until COVID hit. My first house was $97,000 for a 1,700 square foot home here in Star. Right? You can't even think about that anymore. How do you get affordable? There's too many market things in right now in place that creates affordability challenges. Number one, when people move into the city with cash and are able to make offers that were over $100,000 more than what people were asking for, that creates an unaffordability challenge for us. Right? You can't just build apartments and think that that's going to solve the solution. That'll be the solution, because those apartment rents are $2,100 to $2,500 in itself. So what do? That's a great question. We're trying to figure this out. Boise is paying for affordability. That's what they're doing. City of Star doesn't have the capital to do that. We have to rely on what the market is doing here in Star in order to create whatever is affordable for the person at the time, which is unfortunate. My kids were all born and raised here in Star. Right now, in this current environment, they will not be able to buy a house here in Star. They're going to have to go out of the city, somewhere else. And that's a sad thing, but it's something we're just going to have to keep addressing, because there's really no solution for it right now.
Okay, we have one more question, and then we're going to jump into the exciting lightning round.
So let's start with you.
Do you think Star is proactive or reactive in terms of managing growth, and why do you believe that?
Who are you asking first?
You.
Okay, got it, sorry. I think we're proactive in managing growth. When we see an opportunity and a solution, if you look at the comprehensive plan, and it says right in the back, we've done 3 updates, like I've said, in there, right, in the last 4 years. We're getting ready to do another one. Same thing with our city code. Like I said, you don't know what you don't know until it happens, which is unfortunate. And when it happens, we go address it as a staff, bring it to the council, and talk to them about it, and then we make the changes that are necessary for our city for future growth on there. So I think we're very proactive in addressing that with some reactivity in there as well, right? There may be some reactivity based on what happened, but we're very proactive in fixing it so it doesn't happen again in the future. Sorry, Ernest, I got away from the microphone on that.
Thank you, Michelle.
Unlike any good football game, you have to have both reactivity and proactivity. In 2010, the comprehensive plan thought that we would have 8,000 people in 2018. What do we have? It's 2024 and almost 18,000 people. You can't proactively account for all these people flooding into your city, so you have to have a reactive plan. That's what a comprehensive plan does. It provides a reaction, a planned reaction to difficult situations. For those of you who lived in Star in 2007 and 2006, we enjoyed some really cool growth. And then the bubble came, and broke Star and broke all the developers. And we had to sit and wait. So you have to have a reactive plan, but you also have to have a proactive plan on what you want your city to be.
Thank you. So that brings us to the lightning round.
Do we get a bell?
There's no bell. We're asking for these questions.
There you go.
That you give a yes, no answer only, or a one-word answer depending on the question. Do you want to start?
I'll let you start, but I just want to
Okay.
make sure that the rules are said one more time. It is a yes or a no or a one-word answer.
Okay, and we're bringing the council back into this, and since they're all rested up, we're going to start with Mr. Nielsen. Okay, here we go. First question. In January, all newly elected officials will be sworn in. By statute, the oath is to uphold both the U.S. and state of Idaho constitutions. Yes or no? Have you read both constitutions?
Yes.
Jennifer?
Partly.
Michelle?
Absolutely.
Trevor?
Yes.
The second question that we have, and we'll start with Jennifer. Star is the only city in Ada County that does not have its own library. We are currently served by the Ada Library District. Yes or no, do you think Star is ready to have its own library?
No.
No.
I'm going to say no.
No.
And there's a lot behind that question to answer that.
Different time. Okay. Next question. Would you favor raising the speed limit through Star to 35 miles an hour from the current street light at Palmer in front of Ridley's all the way to the current street light at Highbrook in front of Albertsons? Yes or no? Michelle, you go first.
No.
Trevor?
No.
Kevin?
Yes.
No.
Next question, yes or no? Will you support mandatory minimum sentences for fentanyl drug traffickers and encourage your legislators to pass such legislation? We'll start with Trevor.
Absolutely freaking yes.
Kevin?
That's like supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Absolutely freaking yes.
Jennifer?
I can't read that, but yes.
Michelle?
Yes.
Okay, back to you, Kevin. Yes or no? Do you favor term limits in our local elections?
No.
No.
Yes.
No.
We've come to our final question for the lightning round. Your answer to this question is perhaps the most critical and important question you have faced this evening. Think hard. And will likely sway many votes next month, especially in this audience. One word answer. Which restaurant makes the best cheeseburger?
Yes.
Jennifer, this was actually a year again. You're supposed to start.
My house.
We said restaurant.
She'll charge you for it.
We're looking for the name of the restaurant here.
I know, but I don't want to answer with just one word. I don't really eat hamburgers that much. But, so I'm going to go with unknown.
Michelle?
Yeah, I like that. But I'll tell you, I like Stoley's.
Trevor?
I'm sticking with yes, because I like all food.
Kevin?
I'm inclined to agree with Trevor, but I'm going to say townhouse.
So, On behalf of the Star Chamber of Commerce, we would like to thank the candidates and encourage you to thank them at this point. I also wanted to thank the audience and acknowledge your respectfulness. We are going to give the candidates 60 seconds for their closing remarks. And let's see, who to start with? We'll start with Jennifer. How about if we start with Trevor for your 60-second closing remark?
Does this start now? Hey, I have the honor to get to vote to continue to run our city here in the city of Star. We've had lots of great successes here over the last 4 years with all the challenges that we faced. We've been very transparent in our city. We've been very proactive in trying to find solutions when funding sources aren't there. We made adjustments to our comprehensive plan. You can watch our city council meetings online. You can participate online. We have meet and greets. I mean, it's an honor for me to serve the citizens of Star, and I've always. That's why I put so much effort into it. It's our community. It's not my community. It's not the council's community. It's our community, and we do whatever we can to try to make it the best place to live. And honestly, guys, we created an envy in the state for the city of Star. We used to be the armpit. Now we're the top of the ladder right now. People are noticing what we're doing, and they want to do the same thing. And so they're asking us because we are creative here. So I appreciate your support for this coming election.
Thank you. John?
Residents, taxpayers, and citizens of Star, tonight you have heard from the old guard, the establishment, and you've heard from me, a woman with a new direction. I come to you as a servant, a leader, and a friend. Star's future is at a pivotal juncture. It is to be home for the bustle of work, to be home walking with neighbors, to be home in peace with our children and grandchildren. Together we can slow development, we can plan for greater commerce, we can recreate activities and joy for all. Developing a city code of ethics, community with finer transparency, walking and leading with integrity will strengthen this vision and encourage a healthy development. Together, we can establish the vision with a strong identity. That identity includes you and me. Are you ready to be strong? Are you ready to be graceful? Are you ready to walk in freedom? Vote me, Michelle, for mayor.
Thank you. Jennifer?
Thank you again, everyone, for coming out. I just don't have a lot to add here, but I truly appreciate serving all of you, and it is such an honor to live here in Star. We have a wonderful community, and I look forward to spending many more years and growing old here, and my children as well, coming back here. And if you have any questions about how I answered that lightning round, please, come ask me. There's a lot of those were loaded questions, so I can further explain. I'm a little nervous up here, but thank you. Again, please reach out anytime if you have any questions. I don't take this position lightly, and I put a lot of time and effort into it. I'm still learning, but I really enjoy serving all of you.
Thank you. Kevin?
I appreciate what you just said, Jennifer. We're all still learning. And I just want to say a couple of things regarding the old guard. This has been the most innovative group of people that I've worked with, perhaps in my entire life. And I'm in technology, which is changing every single day. And what we've done here is that the old guard in the city of Star has been nothing short of new. New in this state, sometimes new in the country, and certainly new for being the fastest growing city in the United States of America for 2 years during COVID right here in Star, Idaho. This old guard is doing a fantastic job. I don't know how you say slow growth and greater commerce in the same sentence. Those two things are mutually exclusive. They cancel each other out. We will continue to grow, and we will continue to shape growth. And in the community, we need to come together and not just accept that, but embrace it and shape it and make it the way we want it to be. We have 7 pizza joints because people like pizza.
Well, I just want to give a final thank you to our candidates, a final thank you to the citizens, and some of the people that showed up here today. Thank you. The candidates will be in the lobby of the church. Thank you, Life Stream, for having us. The candidates will be in the lobby if you'd like to talk with them a little bit more in depth, or if your question didn't get asked, now would be a great time to ask them. Thank you again.
All right, you are watching Star Spirit Live at Life Spring Church. And Teresa?
Thank you everyone for watching our candidate forum this year for 2023 election. And we from the Chamber, myself, Teresa Wise, Vice President of the Chamber, and the rest of our board, thank you and appreciate all of your support and involvement in our community. Have a wonderful evening.
All right, and what do we always say at this time, Teresa? That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. If I was a photographer, I would know that.
Oh, okay. Have a good night.
Have a nice evening.